Pokémon Gold and Silver. Heading to Johto, not only do we have more Pokémon to catch, there's also more fun to be had with some interesting and game-breaking glitches. So... Scykoh, glad you could make it.
You mentioned you might need some help with glitch hunting in Gold and Silver?
Well, I mean, yeah, it'd be fun. Okay, so you know Celebi, right?
You mean the super rare legendary Pokemon that can never be caught within the game, but only by an event from over 10 years ago? Well, yeah, of course, but it's like super rare.
Which is why I'll be using a glitch to get one.
Okay, I hear you, but I may have a glitch of my own to get Celebi in that case.
Let's make it interesting. Whoever gets a Celebi first wins, well, a Celebi. 'Cause, you know, that's pretty special?
Okay, you're on. Is he coming with us?
What's that you say, Sonny? No. Okay, so my method for getting Celebi will be using what's known as arbitrary code execution, whereby having certain items and placing them in the correct order within my PC storage box, I can get the game to give me a Celebi. But it's not quite as simple as that. As well as specific items, I also need certain Pokemon, one in particular a Quagsire which evolves from Wooper at level 20. So let's begin our adventure and go catch ourselves a Wooper. A Pokemon was stolen from here? Apparently it was a young male with long red hair. That could only be one person. Scykoh. Anyway, we need a Wooper that we can train, or ideally we could just catch a Quagsire right off the bat. We also need this Quagsire to be holding an HP up, which you can buy for an extortionate price in the Goldenrod department store. Jeez, thanks guy. Not only that, the Quagsire needs the move Sleep Talk, which is TM35 as its top move. Getting TM35 can be a bit of a pain. Firstly, you need to go to the radio tower in Goldenrod and expose the fake director who gives you the basement key when you beat him. Then you need to head to the Goldenrod underground and beat everyone there, plus figure out the puzzle. Which is pretty simple, just press the buttons in the reverse order to open all the doors. Then make it to this room and TM35 is in the middle. Now you can teach it to Quagsire and have Sleep Talk as its top move. So now that's Quagsire all set up.
Gang, you're kinda scaring me. I don't think you're supposed to look like this.
The next thing I need is a low-level Pokemon, and seeing as I have a freshly hatched Togepi, that's what I'll be using. I also need a freshly caught low-level Pokemon, in this case a level 5 Oddish, though anything from the New Bark area will do, and this will be the Pokemon that will turn into Celebi, as crazy as that sounds. I put the low-level Pokemon in the first slot and the Togepi in the third slot of my Pokemon, and I need the Quagsire in slot 4 of my Pokemon. As long as these Pokemon are in the correct slots, the glitch should work. It's also useful to have a Pokemon that knows Fly at this point too, which makes the next step a lot easier. In order to get this glitch to work and get a Celebi, we're going to need to fill our PC item storage with certain items in a very specific order. Deposit these items into your PC storage, filling the slots like so. Slot 1 can be any number of any item in the game. Slot 2 can be any item, but there has to be exactly 38 of them. Slot 3 has to be 2 TM27s. Slot 4, 42 fresh water. For slot 5, 1 lovely male. Slot 6, 1 HM7. Slot 7, 65 Pokeballs. Slot 8, 4 Great Balls. Slot 9, 1 Everstone. Slot 10 is again any number of any item in the game. Slot 11, 51 Surf Mail. Slot 12, 18 Full Heals. Slot 13, 46 Flower Mail. Slot 14, 1 HM3 which is Surf. Slot 15, 1 X Speed. Slot 16, 1 TM6. Slot 17 is once again any number of any item in the game, and finally slot 18, 1 TM41. When using any number of any item, make sure to use a different item for each instance, otherwise the glitch won't work. Most of these items can be bought, so make sure you save a lot of money. The hardest item to get would be TM27, which you can only get on a Sunday at the top of the Goldenrod department store if your Pokemon is really happy with you. Okay, hey, how are you getting on over there, Scykoh?
Yeah, I'm good. I have to say, this daycare has some very strange Pokemon.
So now we have all the Pokemon we need and the items in our storage correctly placed, we need the most important item of the whole glitch. In the Goldenrod Underground, you can find the coin case, an item so unimaginably broken in the English version of the game that it holds the secret to getting a Celebi.
That thing is your Celebi?
Just bear with me. So now I have a Quagsire holding an HP up with Sleep Talk as its top move, all my items correctly deposited in storage and the coin case. I now need to fly over to New Bark Town. Remember, you must have the low-level Pokemon you want to turn into a Celebi as your first Pokemon, another low-level Pokemon in your third slot, and the Quagsire in your fourth slot. Go to Professor Elm's lab and stand in the doorway, then save your game. Once saved, reset the game and then choose to continue. Go out the door to Elm's lab and then go right and stand under this tree. Open the Pokédex and then listen to Machop, Machoke, Armanite or Bellsprout's cry. It's safe to assume by now you've at least seen a Bellsprout, so use its cry in the Pokédex. Now, exit the Pokédex and then open up the pack and cycle through till you find the coin case, and then simply use it. If everything is where it should be both item and Pokémon wise, the game should behave normally, displaying how many coins you have. If so, the glitch will work and now you can just exit your pack. Next, fly over to Goldenrod City and head for the daycare just south of where you land. Speak to either one of the old couple and you'll be asked if you want them to raise a Pokémon. Say yes and then hand over the low-level Pokémon in the first slot. Once that's taken care of, give it a sec and then speak to them again. They'll claim they're geniuses and ask if you want to see your Pokémon, and it'll cost you 200 Pokédollars for the privilege. But boy, they really are geniuses, because when you check out your Pokémon, it's now a Celebi.
But he's called Oddish?
Well, yeah, about that. Apart from having the looks of a Celebi, it still has the name of whatever Pokémon it originally was, and also its moveset too. But this can be fixed by taking the Celebi to the name rater in Goldenrod City and simply changing its name there. Easy. Also, you're able to get the move deleter in Blackthorn City to get the Celebi to forget its moves once it learns new ones through leveling up.
Nice! So the coin case is pretty broken, huh? What's the deal?
Well, in the original Japanese version of the game, when using the coin case and selecting yes, the game uses a Hex 57 control character which is a valid terminator in these versions. In the English versions, that same Hex character is still used but isn't a valid terminator, which makes the game jump to RAM address C1112 and the game will execute arbitrary code. By listening to Pokémon cries in the Pokédex, the game will execute code that has a visible effect. But specifically, using Bellsprout, Machop, or Machoke's cry has the ability to give us all kinds of crazy glitch effects, including getting a Celebi.
Okay, that is pretty insane. So, what other cool effects can you get?
I'm glad you asked. So by setting up the PC storage box with similar items as the one used to get Celebi, you can get glitched Pokémon. In the PC storage box, have it set up pretty much how it was to get Celebi, but after the 65 Pokeballs, you'll need 3 stacks of 4 Great Balls. To do this, deposit 99 Great Balls 3 times and then withdraw 95 from each stack to end up with 3 stacks of 4 Great Balls. From there, the rest of the list can be kept the same, or just use exactly the same items as I've used for the glitch. You'll need the same setup of a Quagsire in slot 4 of your Pokemon holding an HP up, and again it must have Sleep Talk as its top move. You'll need a fresh caught low-level Pokemon in slot 3, and then in slot number 1, a Pokemon that you can hand over to the daycare to become the glitched Pokemon. With all this set up, we need to repeat the steps used to get a Celebi. Fly to New Bark Town, then go to Elm's lab, save in the doorway, and reset. Continue the game, step outside, and then stand under this tree, and next open up the Pokédex and listen to Bellsprout's cry. Now open the pack and scroll to the coin case and then use it. If everything's set up correctly, the game should continue to function normally, and if so, cancel out of the pack. Now fly to Goldenrod City and head for the daycare where you need to hand over the Pokemon in your top slot. Let them do their magic and then buy the Pokemon back for this amount. How much is that even? Anyway, when you check out your Pokemon...
What on earth is that?
Well, this is a Pokemon called FF, displayed as 5 question marks in the game. You'll also notice it's Pokemon number 255, which doesn't exist. Funniest thing is, when you send it into battle, it'll be a grayed out trainer sprite but still behave as a Pokemon.
Okay, well clearly the coin case is the most broken thing ever.
Pretty much. Just using the coin case without any item setup or specific Pokemon can cause some crazy results. Try going into any Pokemon Center, then go up the stairs, move directly up and then to the right, and stop exactly here. Open up the Pokédex and listen to Bellsprout's cry, and then when you use the coin case in the pack, instant glitchiness.
The game isn't looking so hot right there. Did it crash?
Yeah, it definitely looks that way. Time for a reset. If you use the coin case in certain other places, you can get the game to boot up in original Gameboy mode, which changes the color palette for the entire game. That's about the only effect it has, but it sure looks off. There are some random things you can access using the coin case glitch that otherwise you wouldn't see, like this unused memory game. To get to play this memory game, fill your PC storage box with these items. You'll need 1 max revive, 4 full heals, 56 PP ups, 99 X accuracies, 44 black glasses, 2 stacks of 44 dire hits, which you'll need to deposit 2 stacks of 99 dire hits and withdraw 55 from each to get 44, and finally 1 TM16. We'll use the same Pokemon from the previous coin case glitches to get this to work. So that Quagsire holding HP up with Sleep Talk as its top move in the 4th slot again, a fresh caught low level Pokemon in slot 1 and another in slot 3. Now repeat the exact same steps from the previous coin case glitches. So go to New Bark, into Elm's lab, save in the doorway, reset the game, continue the game, step outside, stand under the tree. Then open the Pokédex, listen to Bellsprout's cry, and then use the coin case in the pack. The game should now load an unused memory minigame where you have to pick 2 cards to form a pair. You have limited turns and there's really nothing to gain out of this, possibly because it was never finished and integrated into the main game.
That game seems pretty cool though.
Yeah, it's definitely different, but you can get a bit lost in this tiny game as once the turns end, it starts all over again. And the only way out of this minigame is to reset. Using the exact same steps, you can get another part of the game that you wouldn't usually see. The only thing you need to change from the last glitch is what you have in your PC storage. You'll need 1 max revive, 4 full restores, 63 PP ups, 33 Great Balls, 82 TM10s, and 1 TM16. It's safe to say you might need to use some cheats to get that many TM10s and that many PP ups, as there are only 5 PP ups in the entire game that you can actually receive. Perform the exact same steps you did to get the unused memory game, and this time you should arrive in a color test for the game. This is really nothing major, but you can play around with the colors of all the Pokemon sprites to come up with some crazy versions of Pokemon like a pink Charizard or a bright green Graveler. You know, just for fun. But I've left the best use of the coin case glitch for last.
Wait. You mean there's more?
Oh yeah. Remember when we caught a Wooper? We need to teach it the move Return, which is TM27, which as stated earlier you can get on Sundays at the top of Goldenrod City's department store. Return needs to be Wooper's top move, and it should also be holding TM12 Sweet Scent, which you can easily get before you get to Goldenrod City. Wooper now needs to be in slot 4 of your Pokemon. Slot 1 can be occupied by your starter Pokemon, and slot 2 can be occupied by Kenya, the Pokemon you receive from the guard as you leave Goldenrod City. For slot 3 you can use either the egg that Togepi hatches from, or the freshly hatched Togepi works fine too. With your Pokemon set up, you next need to rename boxes 2 through 8 within Bill's PC. They need to be named exactly as you see here. If any characters are wrong, the glitch won't work, so be very careful with the naming of these boxes. Once your boxes are named like this, stand by this screen in the Pokemon Center. Open the Pokédex and listen to Bellsprout's cry. Exit the Pokédex and the menu and move exactly like this to stand on this spot here. Open the pack, scroll through to the coin case and then use it. If the game doesn't crash, exit out of the menu and you'll notice all the in-game character sprites are now invisible, so this is a good indication that things are working. Move towards the stairs in the bottom left corner and go up them, and once on the top floor, go back down the stairs. And now you'll be warped to Mount Silver to meet an invisible Red. Go and speak to him and the game should try to initiate the battle, but it'll end the moment it begins. Why? Because as it stands, we have no Pokemon to battle with, even though before we used the coin case we clearly did.
Holy crud, so we just finished the game?
Yep, when we renamed all the boxes we were actually writing code for the game to execute when we used the coin case. And the results of this not only helped us warp to Mount Silver, it also gave us no Pokemon. When you have no Pokemon, the game automatically thinks you win any battle because under normal conditions you're unable to enter any Pokemon battle without Pokemon. This carries over to when the credits finish and you're able to move about the world entering wild Pokemon encounters and immediately coming out of them again. Also, when you enter the menu, no option for Pokemon.
Well, consider my mind blown, that really is something.
So there you have it, Pokemon Gold and Silver's coin case in all its glory. And thanks to Scykoh for joining this glitch misadventure, it's been fun.
Hey, no problem, dude. And if you guys want to see more Pokemon Gold and Silver glitches, click on that annotation for more Son of a Glitchfest, where we'll see what else these games have to offer.
And if you like this episode, hit that like button, share it with everyone you know and love, but most importantly, please subscribe if you want to see more from the series. Head over to the Facebook page for the show. I post updates and sneak peeks to upcoming episodes and keep you guys in the know about all things Son of a Glitch. Or you guys can follow me on Twitter and keep updated that way. Also, I stream on Twitch whilst making episodes, so you guys should check me out there too. You know, if you want to.